Hello, good afternoon. I'm very sweaty right now. I was just working in my garden doing all the planty things, but a client had just asked me a question about training in a gym with no AC during the summertime. I've been training in a gym with not really AC. We have some fans and stuff for like a decade. And I live in the South, so it's really fucking hot and humid, and I also have POTS. So really well qualified to speak on the subject. And as the seasons start to change, I think there's a few things that can be helpful to keep yourself from feeling like you're gonna pass out and die when you're training this summer. So whether you have chronic illness stuff or not, these are gonna be helpful. And if you do have chronic illness stuff like POTS, we're gonna go extra hard on these, okay? We're not passing out in the gym this summer. I mean, if you do, it happens. It's okay. But let's try to feel good when we're training this summer. So the first and like most obvious one is going to be electrolytes and staying hydrated. So electrolytes are incredibly important, and people lose a lot more than they think when they're sweating and just kind of generally existing when it's really warm out. Obviously, again, standard disclaimer, not a doctor, not a medical professional, etc. So when it comes to electrolytes, figuring out where you land is a very personal thing. If you're somebody who has POTS and you have a subtype of POTS that requires a lot of sodium, the summer can be really rough because it becomes a real chore to get in like 8 to 10 grams of sodium a day. That's me. So a couple of things that I really like to have on hand are electrolyte packets. Now, I'm gonna preface this and say you can absolutely make your own electrolyte powder. There are tons of recipes that exist on the internet. However, as a chronically ill person, I have neither the capacity nor the desire to do that. I will just simply buy mine because it is easier. There are tons of brands out there. The brand that you choose, totally up to you in terms of preference for taste and the amount of electrolytes that you need. So as somebody who has to have like 8 to 10 grams of sodium in the summer, I need like 1,000 milligrams of sodium per packet at a minimum here. So I typically use Element packets. I have a subscription with them, but I will not be renewing it because trash politics and we don't do that here. But I do like the ratio of things that they have. When you're looking for an electrolyte powder, it's going to be important to look for a powder or drops or whatever that also contain potassium and magnesium, because sodium is not our only electrolyte. We need all of those things to be in balance in order to stay hydrated and to keep things at a nice level. So having the ratio of that does become important. I'm also somebody who burns through magnesium at a pretty alarming rate, honestly, that we figured out. Part of that is the POTS thing. Part of that is there's some research indicating that neurodivergent brains tend to use more magnesium than others. So I also will add supplemental magnesium to my electrolyte drinks. I pretty much drink almost no plain water during the summer. If I do, it's because I've had a very salty meal, and that's kind of the only reason why. While we're on the topic of powders and all that sort of good stuff, you can absolutely buy drops. I have personally not used a ton of them. I've used Light Show before. That has very little taste. It kind of tastes like salty lemon. But there's also things like Relight, Buoy, etc. So I'd encourage you to try and find one that like fits your budget, that fits your needs, and that you will actually drink. One thing you can do too, if you're somebody who's going to be making your own electrolyte powder or using like unflavored things, is getting some either like sugar-free lemonade packets or full sugar lemonade packets, or little squeezy Mio drop things to flavor your water, because salty water is pretty gross, to be totally honest. It's not the best tasting thing. So I really rely on that to keep myself hydrated during the summer. And while you're training, it is important to maybe have some carbs while you're training with your electrolytes. Again, not your doctor, so figure out what you need, but generally having a simple carb source, some type of sugar essentially, is going to help shuttle those electrolytes to your muscles much more quickly than having it without those sugars. So you've seen me make my intro drink before. It's typically, I have another electrolyte powder it's over here, that's why I'm pointing there, that I like to use because I like the flavor of it. And then I will add some iodized salt depending on how long I'm going to be training. And I will also add dextrose. Other options for this are things like powdered Gatorade. I would probably add a little bit more salt to that, honestly. But that is a good, cheap, easy to find option. But you can really find a whole host of different type of carb powders and things like that. It really does not have to be fancy. I usually buy just some plain ass dextrose from, I believe the company is Nutricost, and it's pretty cheap. It will last you a decent amount of time. And it doesn't taste like anything. It kind of just tastes like sugar. But it is a carb that is very easily digested, so you can have more rapid rehydration when you're training. This is also great if you feel like you're kind of gassed during training. And I don't know about you, but like I get really bad food aversion in the summer, so I don't want to eat kind of at all. And I especially don't want to eat while I'm training. So having an intra-workout drink is really kind of the key for me staying upright most of the time in the gym. I stash electrolytes everywhere. Like I'm a squirrel, basically. I have some in every bag. I keep some in my gym bag. I keep some in my car. They're everywhere. At home, I have a cute little spider dish that my electrolytes live in because we're going to keep it cute. And having them out helps me to remember to grab them because ADHD means not great object permanence there. So if you're having trouble remembering to do that, put it by your water bottle in a cute little dish, whatever, make it a little bit more enjoyable. Now, in addition to stashing little packets of stuff everywhere, I also keep these with me pretty much at all times. So these are electrolyte chews by Vitasium. And I prefer a chew versus like a salt pill or tab because one, salt pills and tabs kind of hurt my stomach. And so that's not that great. Also, the advantage of having something that's chewable is that the absorption of said electrolytes starts pretty much immediately as you're chewing because it is in your mouth. 2 of these is a serving, and I believe it has 125 milligrams of sodium and 25 milligrams of potassium. These taste really good too. They don't have like a weird aftertaste and they don't have a weird texture. They just kind of, they're like a little chew tablet. But I keep these with me everywhere. I actually need to restock. There are some other brands that make electrolyte chews as well. But yeah, fast acting electrolyte chews are goated for those summer sessions where you find yourself feeling like, oh, hey, I might need a little extra salt in my life right now. So the other things I'm going to talk about are things that will help like cool you down while you're in the gym, leaving the gym, whatever. Again, great if you are heat intolerant or if you're just a person who gets really hot when you train. So my ultimate hack is the little instant cold packs. Like you would have in a first aid kit or something like that. So you just kind of shake it, you burst it, and it is instantly cold, and then you can just toss it. You can buy a pretty big box of these for a decent price as well. And so these are awesome to just toss in your gym bag to have. In the summer, I keep these in my gym bag. I keep these in my car. Again, like I keep stuff everywhere like a little squirrel. But these are a lifesaver. I usually honestly just kind of stuff one down my sports bra because your sternum will help cool you pretty quickly, or you can put it on points that help you cool quickly, like the back of your neck, your wrists, etc. So these, love. Could not more highly recommend because they're not messy and you can just use them and then toss them. Another thing that I like, and I don't have it, but I'll like put a picture here, is these cooling patches. So they're marketed as migraine and fever patches, but they have this weird like blue gel like substance. You can just stick them on you, and these do not get like super cold, right? It's not like having an ice pack, but it is enough of a cooling sensation to help like regulate you a little bit if you're going to be somewhere for an extended period of time. Again, I usually put mine on my sternum because that just cools me very quickly. But I've also worn them like on the back of my neck, or I've like put some tape around my wrist and put them there as well. Like when I would coach long hours and stuff like that too. So those are also an option. And again, you can get them at like CVS or Walgreens, and they're not terribly expensive. And my last little cooling thing is my MVP forever. And that is neck ice rings. So there are so many brands of these. You can just search, do a Google search and find a bazillion. But my favorite thing about these is that they don't make you wet, right? So this is like frozen. I just keep it in my freezer. And if I were to put this on, it's not going to make my neck wet. It does cool me, and you can kind of like pinch it closer, whatever you need there, but it's not going to like drip on you like you're putting a wet washcloth on you or anything like that. They stay cold for a decent amount of time. And when I use this for training, it comes with like a little case, insulated case. I will put it in its case, put that case in like a lunchbox with some ice packs, and leave that in my car. And then I will throw this on immediately when I get in my car to drive home. You can also bring it into the gym. That totally works too. And kind of wear it like you would wear one of the like wearable fans, which is also a great hack. A lot of my clients really love that as well. I personally have not used one, but that is also an option too. These are also great if you're somebody who has longer hair or thicker hair and you blow dry your hair in the summer and you want to just rip your skin off because you get too hot after you shower. This is basically what I wear all day, every day in the summer. It freezes very quickly. Again, I just keep it in my freezer, pull it out when I need it, and you can get multiples as well for a pretty decent price. Those are my tips for training during the summer. Let me know if you would like additional tips regarding chronic illness, fun things that are seasonal. I may do a whole video on like food aversion and being able to eat protein during the summertime, because that's usually a struggle for a lot of us. But yeah, I will see you all next time. And please let me know what training sessions you'd like to see vlogged, if you'd like more day in the life stuff, more tips and things like that. But thank you for being here, and I will see you all later.